Hey, you! I bet you clicked on this video to learn how to animate on Roblox via Moon Animator. Well, I've got your back because I use Moon Animator and I animate. So, let's start. So, before we do that, let's learn a little bit of vocabulary. Number one, centralize. Let's say I want my arm to move in a random position. Oh no, I can't turn it back, and now I'm making it worse. Now let's centralize it. This means to place it back in its exact normal position to an atomic level. No, just kidding. It's just normalized in a normal way. So let's begin by doing an animation. Now let's open a new animation now called let's do it. Call it first. Now let's click the plus button. And then you don't have to include this, but for beginners I recommend that may look different, but that's normal. So we've got our character. And now, oh my god, there are so many buttons and so many things. I've got your back, pal, because I had months of experience. And I'm going to make a series on this. While other YouTubers only do a 20-minute coverage, I'm going to have a 10 plus 15-minute. I'm going to have over 200 minutes of coverage minimum. And I go into very good detail about this. So let's just start. But first, we're going to do simple animation. We're going to only focus on lower and upper torso. Now let's make temp. No, that's too cursed. Now let's make temp. Now centralize it. And let's make it temp turn. Good. And fun fact, you can also move. Let's do a simple jump. Did you know that you can place more than 3 keyframes and you don't have to press G every single time you make a new animation to new keyframe to make things way simpler? Now let's look at it. Good. Now let's, as our final thing for torso only, let's make temp walk. Weirdly. Good. Now, last but not least, let's make temp walk. Go in a random direction. Now you'll just see me playing. Now you know how to drag it. Alright, now enough spoiling. Now we learned how to move the torso. Did you know you can do this with many other parts? Now, if you think that I'm wasting your time, well, no. It's because that there are so many more parts. There are up to these are how many parts you can get up to. I just want to focus on 2 parts, so you don't have to deal with all this. Okay, I'm not gonna stop being aggressive now. So I just wanted to make sure you guys basics. And now, to make things way easier, for now, since it's literally the first episode, I'll delete this. Oh my goodness, I forgot to mention, I have to insert my character. In the meanwhile, subscribe to my channel while I insert a character. So click on the character inserter and click now click R6 for simple and click R15 for complex. Since I want it simple because it's my first episode, I'll click R6. Now open Moon Animator. Open new animation, and now let's call it second. I'm sorry for making you guys stuck on that. Now let's go back. Include marker. You guys, yeah, and also now basically the main difference is that you don't have to do it on R15. It's just that you can do it with the torso too. Now let's get back. So let's do a simple walk animation. We'll do 2. Now another vocabulary word is how do I pronounce it? Literatures. I'm just going to call it literature. I'm just gonna call it 2 cycles. So first we have to centralize our torso. Make things way easier for ourselves. And then move it 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, Since I want this to be linear, I will not like linear. I'll do this. That's quite fast, but who cares? Now, every 15 seconds, a new cycle will begin. But you may be asking yourself, what's a cycle? Well, a cycle is this. This is a cycle. And then for the 30 seconds, you know what? I'm just gonna extend this for now. Now this is a cycle. That's a cycle. With but that's obviously the arms only, so, because to make things simpler. I mean, you literally just a few minutes ago started animating. Not to get too rude, but yeah. Now let's make our arms, legs go. Now this is a cycle. But to make things way less complicated. But you might say, oh, Temp, I can use a loop. Well, if I use a loop, it'll just literally loop itself and it won't even move just beyond that point. So now let's make the second cycle, shall we? Also, you don't have to centralize it. You can just move it like that. Because since it's not changing its position, because since it's the center is staying where it's supposed to be, you don't have to literally just centralize it every single time. And please don't centralize the torso, so unless you have to, because this is what happens when you centralize your torso. See, did I just create backwards long jump that I used in my trailer? That wasn't very good. Oh well. So now that we created halfway created the second cycle, let's do a left arm. Now this is a second cycle. Oops, I just forgot. Now let's see what air we've created. Oh, right! Oh, hey. Now, we do this. And let's check the time. Oh my, it's already 7? This is going to already cost so much. Well, it's the last time. It's with the, what? Left arm. There. Okay, whatever. 30 frames. That'll go there. And my right arm goes here. And for the 45-second, let's go. Oh, and also sorry if you're bored, but I'm just teaching you so good in detail that it looks boring, but we're just learning the basics. There is going to be fun parts very soon. Now, let's do the final idiot literature. Instead of doing like all that over again, let's just centralize it. That's the walking animation. Pat yourself on the back. This is a walking animation. Good job. Now, let's make Temp turn. And now we're going to learn what's called sudden movements. See, what we did is, what we have done here exactly is not sudden, but repeated movements. You'll see me making these words up, but trust me, the actual words for this is like 20 words long, yeah, 10 words long, and I just try to make it simplified. So these are natural movements. No, those are repeated or natural movements, and then what I'm about to do is a sudden movement. So let's take our left arm, centralize it, even though we've already done it, just to be on the safe side. Let's take 10 frames, or approximately 1/6 of a second, and do this. Okay, that's too cursed. I'm gonna have to. And fun fact, you can move. All right, we already do with the torso. And then we do this. Oh, and that, and that, and that. Even though these are non-linear movements, I don't care. It's just a simple shake and there. I know, oh my god! Oh yeah, that's right. We didn't centralize it. Now, I thought we would. But what I did wrong there was that I didn't centralize it. And now let's centralize the left arm. Now let's look at what we have done so far. Now that's sudden movements. Well, I have a very good example of sudden movements. It was in my Temp Direct trailer. Now let me open up the exact scene where sudden movement occurred. There were so many sudden scenes here. Alright, so in this scene, where Temp waves, that's a sudden movement. And this is a sudden movement too. And that's a normal movement. And what you just saw there is actually the teleportation effect. So now let's examine this scene again, but in slow motion. Sudden movement. Natural. Not, I'm just. And that's a sudden movement. Sudden movements only have one. You know what? I'll go into more detail on sudden movements and linear movements, and that's the teleportation effect. And there is an error when I was doing the teleportation effect. So yeah, just one of my Lego things broke apart, and yeah. So basically, teleportation effect is something that makes an illusion to look like it teleported, but no. Now there is an error here where I forgot there was no sense. Now look, notice this. What did I do wrong here? A. No centralization, or B. Accidental rotation. A. No centralization. B could be fixed with easy with the centralization, so it has to be A. So now let's examine the teleportation. Frame by frame. Now notice those first few frames where the temp teleported. You can easily recreate this. Well, first let's save this, as you should always do. And then let's new animation, teleportation. I'll go into more detail when in the yeah. All right, so now let's say that temp just now let's try I'm gonna recreate the scene and sudden movement. You know what? I'm just not gonna use the word sudden movement. It's so confusing. But it's a good thing to try and memorize. It's a cool thing. But the reason why I use the sudden movement is that it appears sudden, and the natural movement is what looks like a normal movement. That's why I've been using them so much. Yes, sorry. But now, let's do the torso. And also, in my series, you get to know the animation process step by step. And it's quite easier. And now let's recreate the teleportation effect. Now, one thing you should do before recreating making a sort of teleportation effect is A, centralize all parts except for the torso. For that, you can just jiggle it. Just move it. Yeah. So, yeah. Now that we have it moved slightly, now we can recreate the teleportation effect. First, let's make temp walk. And then let's create the exact frame. I'm going to jump for absolutely no reason. And let's recreate this. I think we just killed Temp. Rest in peace. So we just killed Temp, and yeah, let's just get away from the scene because I just killed a child. Yeah. Oh, he didn't die. That was a teleporter. Yeah. Yeah, let's just animate as like, you stupid idiot! Why did you get? Yeah. I think we just almost killed a child, but anyway. Let's just animate him and just to be safe so he doesn't tell the police. And uh there. Now he can't tell the police. No, that will actually be important for later. See, I'm not even kidding. All right, so let's move his arm and make it downwards so you can't barely even notice it. Now this is actually pretty much for an obby. So now with them out of the arms out of the way. Now let's recreate a jump. Now the reason why I removed the arms in the face is that it makes it more of a dummy, so you can notice it. No, so you can get less distracted. And even though we kill a child, I don't care. And Temp is dumb. All right, so now exactly. Let's calculate how many studs we've moved. All right, so that's exact 1, 2, 2 studs. So now we're gonna make it go down 2 studs like this. Dut, dut. All right, so now the reason why I did that was because the slope was what? Wait, I think I screwed this up. And yeah. All right, so now let's notice this frame by frame. So now, sorry for the person who don't know, but slope is basically the change of y over x. So as you notice, let's calculate the slope. The reason why I'm even mentioning algebra is because animation goes, if you know algebra, it's very good for animation because it's literally moving and you need to calculate where it's going. And learning slope is very good. So I can estimate that that's approximately 2 studs. So the slope is 1 and then the slope is -1. Yeah. All right. So now that and then the total overall slope, average slope is 0. So that means it's linear. Alright, so now that we've created our totally unrealistic jump, let's centralize the arms before they were even. Alright, head, yeah. Wait, what? Right arm. Gee. Alright, now let's remove. Now, we've got ourselves a simple jump. Why isn't it moving? The hell? Wait. Oh, it was because it wasn't intact. It wasn't open. So now let's review our simple jump. Alright! Now we've done our simple jump. And one last thing for today's tutorial. For the basics. I want to let's create an animation based on what we've learned. So now let's make Temp walk with only torso movements. Now we need to make this approximate because 15 and now let's start with making a G. Oops. Alright, so now we're gonna make a move stud. Now let's start creating a now 30. Now let's recreate a walk. But first, centralize everything. But let's see, since you guys probably think that I can do it without centralizing, let's see what happens when I don't centralize. Now, let's do the right arm. Left. Yeah, don't worry about the algebra thing that I said earlier. It's only about like graph stuff, like slope. It's really all about the movement, like, yeah. And now, for the final one, we will central. No, let's just do it without centralizing. This is without centralizing. Oh wait! Let's go back a few frames. Do you notice the unevenness? This is because that since there's no keyframe that says to stay right there, it automatically moves there. So yeah, that's why I always use centralizing. So let's centralize everything. Oops, 15, yeah, let's just 15. 15, 15, 15, 15, 15, everything's 15. Alright, now that we've done our basic walk, now let's do the teleport. So, without centralizing this part, let's move temp within one frame this far. And then, after the shocking discovery, temp immediately stop. Oh gosh darn it. Well, now since Temp is actually running out of breath since he's running so fast, the literatures will be exponential. Meaning that he's walking slower and slower. And also, since this is exponential, this means that the thing's gonna be frame rate 2 off, so don't judge me. Alright, so now, and then, let's centralize the torso. No, I forgot that. Now, let's make the torso turn within 5 seconds. And yeah. And now let's make Temp scratch his head. You know what, let's just make him wait. Nah. Okay, so this is the overall animation we've made. Okay, so this is the animation with everything we've learned today. Alright, just checking OBS. So, yeah. Alright, let's see what animation we've made. And meanwhile, no. Yep, that's what we've done based on today. And don't forget, there is much more to the animation just than that. So be sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications so you know when I'm live, and like the video so you if you want more tutorials. And as always, Temp Animations